All right, so today it's a little bit of what I expected. You could have one last hurrah. I think we had that in gold. To be honest, gold finished quite well. Wouldn't be surprised if we crossed the 4,000 mark in gold overnight because it ended high of day and it still looks good to be honest. But I don't want to say it's irrelevant, but I mean gold could drag up silver tomorrow. But gold was up nicely, right? More than 0.5%. Silver was down. And like I said, we're pretty much a high 48s. It's the same as 49. 49 is 50. How greedy do you want to be? Silver being down didn't surprise me too much. Gold being up was not the most surprising thing, but it's all about the miners. The miners being down, and look at that. I mean, the opposite candle is gold. I mean, literally opposites. You wouldn't think they're related. And I think that's not the biggest shocker. That's kind of why I said today was the trim day. Will we go a bit higher? And I did trim a little bit, not enough as usual. I'm still thinking gold could maybe push through 4,000, not on a spot basis, but on a, regular trading sort of basis. Um, so I'm not sure, but I don't think we're going to be trading above yesterday's open in the GDX, and the same for the GDXJ and SIL and SILJ. I think we've seen a little temporary high at least, and now it's about how far down we go. So, with all my little trims, I've got decent sidelines. And the way I know that I'm well balanced is when it's up, I'm happy, and when it's down, I'm also happy now. With the little trims I've done, yesterday was very little. Today was a bit more. Still not enough. Not even 5% across the board. I was hoping for 5 to 10%, not even 5%. Some of the stocks like 2%. I don't know. It's just the way I am. I mean, but all in all, when you got 25 stocks and you do that across the board, it's good sidelines. And now I'm happy when I see them red. I'm like, yeah, I trimmed. Let's see how far they go down. And I'm gonna give it some room. I'm not gonna, oh, we're down 3% GDX, let's go start buying. No, no, I'm talking about 5 to 10% at least. I'm not looking unless it's minus 5%, like GDX, GDXJ minus 6%. Maybe not in one day, but I'm looking for at least that, preferably 10%, something like that. And then I start looking, and then I'll start finding the levels. I'm not even going to look for levels today. Today was, we had days like this before. We had sort of 1 or 2 days drops, and then we go make new highs. And gold is probably going to breach 4,000 tomorrow. So I'm not going to say that the top is in, even though we're pretty much there because of gold, specifically because of gold. But otherwise, you look at the miners and silver, it's going to be hard to go back up, especially in the miners. Maybe silver can be dragged up by gold. But yeah, kind of temporary top. Otherwise, that's GDX. They all look the same. GDXJ, same thing. SIL, obviously silver was down, but it's kind of looks like GDX. GDX supposed to follow gold, so they all kind of look the same. SIL, SILJ. And that's a bit rare that they all look exactly the same, especially when you've got gold and silver doing opposites. So here they all kind of followed silver. Obviously, had the markets down. I don't want to say the markets were leading the miners. That's not been the case for a long time. But I would see, the S&P drops down and the miners would follow and silver would follow. Gold is a bit special. It's that like, I don't know, risk off special sort of asset at the moment. So maybe silver is just related a bit more to the general markets and the risk on a bit like the miners. But either way, we were at resistance. We had a bit of a drop today. It's nothing special. You got some miners that were down like 1%. Some of them were up. Some of them were down 2, 3%. And not a horrific day at all. In fact, a lot of these red candles here actually were worse. But still, we're not used to red days. So those are the miners. That's gold. That's silver. Let's look at the actual portfolio. Newmont following GDX. Still really high, all the way up there, all the way at the old highs, new highs. It's nothing actually. It's kind of the close of 3 days ago of Friday. I mean, that was a beautiful close. So nothing's changed really in the grand scheme of things. Newmont, fine. Agnico, bit of a drop. You see a lot of resistance there. 170 seems to be a level. But what a stock to buy in a dip. Like cheaper now than all the way down there with the price of gold, with earnings per share. So I am not at all worried about a drop in any of these. Barrack just lower lows and it's just waiting for that close below 32.50 probably. Then we flush down. Cool. I think it's got a great future ahead of it. I think it should be trading all the way up in the 60s. And here we are, maybe going to test the 30s if we have any decent drop. So that's cool. I welcome the drops. Pan American Silver, 40 is the level. We're going to go down to 38 at least if we have any sort of a drop. And then time to see how much lower we can go. If we go, who knows? If we have a big pump tomorrow with gold breaching 4,000, silver's dragged up, we could end up attacking 40 again because down 1.5% is nothing special at all. Wheaton, it's been a while since it tested its high 114. This one also one of Rick Rule's favorites. I like this one for the dip buy. I guess, well, this should be a level, right? 103 is a level, but I'm looking for a. I mean, we've gone up non-stop. If we're going to have a drop, maybe we can have an extra drop. I don't want to be the. I don't want to start buying the first level. I want that sort of that extra flush to happen. Buy that. That'll be my first buy. I think we can. It's too early to tell, right? But that's what I'm looking at. I don't want to start drawing trend lines too quickly. I want another day before I start looking. This is very, very tight and steep. Look at that close at the low of day. That's doesn't really get worse than that. Like literally low of day. Well, we have this ascending. So tomorrow, 212. And then we've got the low of this candle. I'm gonna just put that in there. Just keep an eye on Franco Nevada. It's Franco Nevada, Wheaton, and Agnico. Those were the three that he mentioned, Rick Rule. I will remember that. I've owned them for months or years in some cases, but Metalla, that's okay. Basically tested its high from yesterday, $7. There's your resistance, 6.99. Didn't trim that. I don't own too much of it compared to the others, so no problem. I am gold. That was probably my biggest loser today in the precious metals. Literally open at high, close at low of day, worst candle possible. Just absolutely bearish, but still probably within the steep. Jeez, this is steep. Yeah, just within that steep zone. Maybe 1250. I'm starting to draw trend lines just as I see them immediately. That little gap below. I don't know. I'm looking at old trend lines. I may have to remove those. All right, I'll start doing those a bit later, but that's a pretty big drop. And that's with gold up. I thought it followed gold massively. I wonder if there's any news on that. Or maybe it's just needed a bit of a retracement. It has gone up non-stop. Equinox was cool though. That one just was flying like 5% today, but it closed just at resistance 1150, popped its head above it. I looked at it in the morning. I think that's when it had its biggest pump, but 1150 still okay, right? 3.5% when everything else is down is cool. B2 gold, not much of a drop. That's fine. I think there's some Mali news out. Like again, bad news. I think probably Barrick Gold. Well, they all went down today, but yeah, recently there was some negative Mali news that like I don't know, wanting to charge the companies over there a bit more with withholding some royalty payments, whatever it is. It was bad news, but you couldn't see it in the P2 Gold stock price. Harmony, pretty good for something that had bad news recently and has been stalling around 19. You have a bad day in the GDX and still it's only down 1%. That's pretty good. It looks like it wants to take it out, but if gold goes down, you're gonna have to go down too. Aris Mining, not the best candle at all, but in the end closed down not even 0.5% on a day where everything else is down a lot more, so that's not that bad at all, actually. Maybe it just wants to finish the move and retest the breakout of like $10 and then go back up. I don't know, we'll see. SBSW, that's more platinum palladium. Oh yeah, by the way, a few people, well, I don't even know who they are. Just I've seen a few more people talk about trimming gold, silver, and adding to some of the other resources, right? Whether it be whether it copper, obviously copper is probably starting to think it's a better play, but I don't know enough copper stocks. I found a few, like five or six. In fact, I bought one or two today, some junior copper stocks. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, there's so many oil. I own one oil stock, Murphy Oil. Otherwise, so many tungsten, tin. Platinum, palladium, of course. I think there's like 30 different metals, but I'd be a bit lost if I try and go too much into them. But copper, platinum, palladium at least. I think that if gold and silver drop, you'll probably get the other metals drop. I don't know. I didn't even check DXY. I didn't check the US dollar, but you might have one of these. And the market was down too, right? Maybe it's going to drag down kind of all asset classes, maybe except gold because it's a bit special, risk off. But you could have a bit of a drop everywhere. I think it'd be healthy. When that happens, obviously I'll be trying to buy gold and silver, but I may try to start buying one or two copper, platinum, palladium stocks. But anyway, SBSW is okay. It was actually up today. It was up 1.5%. Not bad, actually. All right, silver. First Majestic. That's okay. Down 1% on a day that silver's down and the GDX is down. That's okay, but I still think First Majestic has not moved up as much as the others, especially for like a mid-tier cult stock, maybe even a senior, you can call it. So I maybe that's why. And also had a great day yesterday. So you're not really allowed to retrace the full move unless it's like bad news. Fortuna, this is the one I wanted to get rid of. I trimmed that yesterday after hours. Today, a little bit when I started to feel that we were red, very early on. But again, not enough. This is the one I want to sell most. I just, instead of selling the others, just sell the one you don't like. I mean, I should just sell the full position and then I can keep everything else. But actually, not down that much, 2%. It's okay. It's not that bad. CDE down 2.5%. You'd expect more for something that's gone up non-stop. That's okay. That's okay, especially given what silver did. You can see where the resistance is now, right? 1950. Heckler down 4% in the end. Okay. I didn't realize it was down 4%. Yeah, that's kind of what I expected from CD, like 4%. And then if we have more selling it down 6%, and then by the time we're done, it's down all the way. Yeah, this would be a good buy zone. How much of a drop is that? That would be a really nice clean drop. 12 more percent, 13. Yeah, that'd be a big move. I'd buy that. We'll gotta see. We'll have to see. But otherwise, it's kind of matches what silver did. That's what I expected from CDE. But no biggie. EXK is next. So much resistance there around 820. But that's okay. Down 1%. I think outperformed silver. Then we got the little juniors, which I'm not looking to buy now. Now that I think the silver could start dropping, so I don't mind the fact that I bought my first tranche. I forgot where it was, and after yeah, actually, I think it was a bit high. It was the Canadian stock too. I think it was kind of a bit higher than where it is now. But if silver has a little bit of a drop, like I'm talking about retesting 44, I don't know. I want to give it one more day before I start looking at the buy zones and all that. I think it's still a bit too early, but if we have a big drop or a decent healthy drop, then this is going to come down a bit more, right? So I'm not going to buy this now. GSVR, if that looks okay, it's had its big drop. Looks like it wants to consolidate, but you know what? If silver starts to drop now, bam, down we go to this little yellow zone, and then you can pick it up around here, let's say that, and I think then it would start to bounce and go back up with silver to retest 50. And who knows if silver breaks 50, starts running to 70, this thing could like do several 100% moves. Jag was up today. It's the one that I want to double my position and then just leave it, but it's hard to do it when silver's down. But this is very, very strong. Having the kind of day that it had, with silver doing what it did, that's pretty good. KTN Kootenay down. That went 5.5%. That, who knows, if silver starts to come down, back we go to 150 breakout zone. That would be cool because I've got very small amounts in this. It's like entry $500 only. I kind of want to double them to 1K, and I end up having like 10 or something. But I don't know. I've got plans now with these copper, platinum, palladium. I'm going to end up with loads of stocks. I've already got like 40, 50 stock. I don't know how many stocks I've got actually. Maybe 40. And if I start adding all these juniors and different metals, it could start getting really chaotic. So I need to really think about what I'm doing here when it comes to these new mines that I'm buying and not just gold and silver. What else? There's gold and silver, 3% down, kind of matches GDX, although gold was up. That's okay. That's okay. In the end, I'm going to keep this one. I think that what the market did there is quite impressive. Just negates the whole short, the short thesis that brought it down all the way there. But that's it. I want to keep it short today, even though it's quite an interesting day and it's potentially the top, 4,000 gold, $50 silver, GDX red, despite gold being strong over 0.5%. I do feel like quite a few market participants have been thinking like me, which is let's front run this resistance, $4,050. That's resistance. Let's take it out on the miners. I think that's what happened today. I just don't know if we're going to get that follow through tomorrow. And if we get that follow through, we probably will because gold was up anyway and it still did it. So if gold takes out 4,000, it's like the best it can do. And if we still have red or unchanged or nothing special, no big bounce, then it probably just means, look, we're just tired. Just go down, like just stop. Let's go down 6% in gold. Let's have a minus 10% move in silver. Let's have the miners do a minus 17% or minus 20%. The weak hands get flushed out. The early buyers buy the early dip buyers just get crushed. And then I don't know. I just feel like that's what's needed, and I have the feeling that's what's going to happen. I just want that extra day tomorrow to confirm. And let's see. I actually think gold's going to go through 4,000 tonight. I think silver's not going to take out its high of 48 point whatever it is, 8. I think it'll go back up with gold and then sort of sell off a bit. And I think the miners will go up a little bit with gold, but nothing special. And I think by Friday we're going down, next week down a little bit, healthy. I don't know if it's what I think or it's what I hope, but I think it's both. So I'll end it there. Let's see what happens. But I think you guys felt that today was a bit different and maybe we do need a healthy drop because next year we're just going higher, right? So this is all it's all part of the healthy cycle. All right, good luck.